Somebody's getting on my nerves. Somebody's getting on my nerves. Somebody's getting on my nerves. Was that line, forget that you're a lady and give them what they deserve? All right, show of hands if you guys remember that track from back in the day. I know I played that CD out. Another quick show of hands if you've ever felt like that dealing with somebody, and please don't call out their name if they're sitting right next to you. But how many times have you ever felt like that when dealing with people where they're kind of getting on your nerves and you really don't want to tell them, but they kind of are? Today we're hitting a little bit on how to stay top of mind without being obnoxious. You know, building relationships is so important in any industry, but I feel like there's a balance to be had there between being top of mind and being overbearing and outright intrusive. To navigate this challenge effectively, we're talking about some refined strategies for remaining memorable to your clients in all the right ways. Over the years, I know that this has ever been a thing that I have really not loved about social media. Now, I love that it gives me real-time access to so many people so I can meet and engage with new faces. Simultaneously, I really am not a fan of the fact that it gives such easy access to me, and I don't mean that in a mean or a bad way, but I can go a little batty sometimes, feeling like I'm being completely bombarded by people in my inbox trying to sell me stuff, and it just always feels like it's just somebody on the other side of the screen trying to like manipulate me into a sale. Nobody likes feeling that way. No lie, I know I have wrestled with this many a times over the years, as I really appreciate the hustle. I don't want to be mean to people. I appreciate that they're trying to put themselves out there. But then there's part of me that also, feels guilty, as I'm like, I just don't really want to have to deal with that. I'd never mean to be discouraging, but then I wonder how many others feel this way and want nothing to do with us when we unintentionally send the wrong vibe and messaging in our efforts to stay top of mind. So how do we put ourselves out there to foster those connections without making people feel this way and without making them quietly just run from us? Today, I thought it would be a good idea to hit on a few things that we can do to navigate this a little bit better, but this is surely not the end all on this discussion. So if you have tools and strategies that have worked for you, I would really love to hear them. So make sure you drop them in an email, note, comment, whatever. Tell me all about it. But for now, let's dive into a few key points that I had lined out for today. First of all, being lead with value. I'm a big proponent of this. You got to take the time to really ponder the genuine needs of your ideal client. What is really weighing on their mind right now? What life things are they experiencing? And what are some ways that you can help to alleviate that? How can you offer straightforward solutions that directly address their needs or help them reach their goal? Presenting simple and effective solutions that resonate with their core issues shows that you have concern for them, along with your readiness to relieve their problems and help them meet that goal. Number two, I'm going to say to be authentic. You guys are going to hear me harp on this over and over again. Authenticity is so key, though it's often easier said than done, especially where in the professional realm we want to, wear the suit, and we find it hard to navigate around trying to maintain a sense of genuineness while also feeling pressured to conform to certain expectations or personas that fit the suit that we're showing up in. Me personally, I can't stand false pretenses and disingenuous tactics that people try to employ to get sales out of me. It always makes me feel more like they're trying to manipulate me and prompts me to pull away as fast and far as possible. So I don't think that people really mean to do this. I think that it unintentionally happens when they are trying to figure out how to bridge that gap between who they are and who they think their audience needs them to be in that moment. Now, I would say that bearing all hardly sounds like a good strategy, but I would highly encourage you to really assess what points of your values, your personality, maybe your character are possibly a little more fitting with your audience than what you once thought. I know professionally, I wrestled with this for a very long time. On the one hand, I've long been right at home in a suit and stilettos. On the other hand, I'm well known around many gyms across the country. I'm 38, I'm not dead, I'm not done, and I've often been described as classy but will throw hands. Yes, I'm standing here right now with makeup covering a black eye that I got doing just such things where my partner beat me to the punch. I felt like for years, though, that I had to create this distinct separation between the different facets of me. Looking back, though, every time I would see me in pastels or pink anything, I would freaking cringe and felt like such a sellout that wasn't being true to myself. I was trying to fit the image of what I thought people wanted to accept me as a professional. My own pivot point came when I accepted, you know what? Yes, I am classy, but absolutely will throw hands, but only by invitation or provocation. I'm a protector type, not a bar brawler. What I found though is that me being okay with who I am, who I really am, and the unique way that I connect with people gave me a stronger positioning with the people that I wanted to do business with, while making me less attractive to those I kindly don't. And I don't mean that to push anybody away in a bad way or reject anybody. It's just, I'm not the person people go to because they want coddled. I'm not the one to beat around the bush. I like to do business in a more pointed way. I want to cut through the fluff, get down to business, and get the job done exceptionally well. I would say edgy, concise, breviloquent, as a new word that I'm just absolutely loving. Those are more how I like to communicate. I'm a professional, but I grow increasingly put off by the way we feel this need to show up, live in the LinkedIn life, and just putting on airs and being so disconnected from who we are. But what I've found is that there are a heck of a lot of people out there that feel the exact same way. They're sick of having the life choked out of them with their own tie, and they are relieved to have that fresh breath of air that comes with getting to do business with somebody who is the real deal. Emulating others who are killing it in business and in your industry might sound tempting, but remember, the world benefits more from your unique contributions and who you really are. Whatever your authentic personal and brand identity, owning it in a way that turns the right heads is key to locking eyes with your key prospects. Next, I'm going to say engage on social media, but don't intrude. Utilize social media platforms to maintain engagement with your audience. This should involve a combination of sharing your own content and interacting with your followers through comments, sharing their content, maybe conducting Q&A sessions. These interactions should keep the conversation going and strengthen your relationship with your audience. Now, a little PSA I'm going to drop here, because this one does kind of get me, is be real, but also relevant. Like 50 random posts asking them everything from their favorite color to their favorite soup is not the type of engagement that I'm actually talking about. Keep it real, relevant, relatable, and meaningful. If you're asking for their time and attention, you should be rewarding them with an incredible value for what they just gave you. As you continue to foster those connections, make sure you also maintain regular contact. Keeping in touch with your audience is essential, but it's important to strike the right balance. Don't be all up in their faces all the time, just saying, hey, look at me, look at me. Like, show up at a time that is, ideal, relevant, maybe consistent, but not all the time. So pro tip, I would say, is to make it a point to drop notes and reminders to yourself on your calendar or in your CRM to follow up periodically. And it could be just dropping a card in the mail, maybe shooting a text just to check in on them. If you haven't heard anything in a while, dropping a note for reconnection is not necessarily a bad thing, and it's a great way to say that they're still on your mind. With those notes, you might also drop reminders to yourself, like maybe how you met or, other things that are important to them. And this is not to use it as a sleazy tactic, but to genuinely care about people and what they're going through, the lives that they're living. Who are their kids? What are their interests? What are some milestones and cool things that have been happening in their lives, their families, and their work? What are some upcoming events that you would love to see them at? If you're in a networking and they are also in a networking, send them an invitation and catch them there. Make sure that when you do this, you personalize the interactions, that you're mindful of who the person is that you're actually communicating with. So again, those notes are going to help with that. So you have something to look back to, and you can come to them with relevant conversation that helps you foster that connection over the long term. Last point for today is I'm going to say to be on top of your game for them, right? Stay on top of your industry, the news, the trends, and share those insights with your audience. Staying informed and sharing your knowledge positions you as a thought leader in your field. Times are ever a-changing. There is so much stuff to keep up with, and it's so easy to feel overwhelmed. So you doing what you can to stay on top of your industry is a great way of saying, you know what, I know this is important to you, but also that it's so hard to keep up, but know that I got you covered. And this is where you get to insert your stellar sage advice or a quick hack that is going to change their life. Building meaningful relationships requires consistent effort and a strategic approach. By offering value, ensuring that you're doing so with authenticity, engaging effectively, maintaining regular contact with personalized interactions, and staying informed, you can remain memorable to your audience in the most positive way possible. So what are some ways that you like to maintain strong connections for the long haul? What are some things that you found work for you? I'd certainly love to hear more about it, so make sure you drop it in the comments below or shoot me an email at onbrand@oxeniron.co. Would love to connect with you further on this topic. I hope you guys appreciated this video. If you did, make sure that you hit that like, follow, share, and subscribe action, and look out as we have a lot more content coming your way. Take care. Talk to you guys soon.